the Smith & Wesson Equalizer. Let's check it out. Smith & Wesson introduced their M&P Shield EZ back in 2018. It was in 380 ACP, and then in 2019 they came out with their 9mm. One of the things about the EZ is what it says. It's easy to pull the slide back. It's easy to load the magazine. It has that 18-degree grip angle, which makes it very natural to point. And it's just easy to shoot. It's really made for those with weaker hand strength, but yet there were a lot of people that were seasoned shooters that love this gun, myself included. One of the big limitations is it's 8 rounds. And now we have the Equalizer, and this is based on a lot of the similarities from the EZ, but yet there are a lot of upgrades. The slide's been textured, a lot heavier, a lot nicer slide serrations, and yet it's really easy to pull back. Still has that 18-degree grip angle, and it has a grip safety, which is also included in the standard EZ. It's really made for those who have little experience shooting. And so for those who really need a firearm for self-defense, this makes a great option. But the big plus with the Equalizer is that it ups the round capacity. We've got 10 rounds, 13 rounds, and a 15-round magazine all included. And so that really gives you a lot of self-defense potential, which thus, it really equalizes the situation. And a big thanks to Smith & Wesson for sending the Equalizer for this review. As the old saying goes, God made man, Sam Colt made him equal. This, to me, is one of those equalizers, and thus the name. One of the things about a firearm is it really levels the playing field. And if you are a small female, weighs 110 pounds, and you're up against some guy that weighs 220, this definitely gives you a fighting chance. And I think the name is very appropriate. And this allows for people that have weaker hand strength, new to shooting, just to have confidence in their firearm. And I think that is huge. This is, again, an upgrade of the Smith & Wesson M&P EZ. And we're going to take a look and do some comparisons, but guys, there are some real nice upgrades, and I think we're going to be seeing this type design throughout all the M&P line. Now, one thing you'll notice is it says Equalizer here on the slide, but it doesn't say M&P, and that is kind of a telltale. So I think we're going to see Smith & Wesson going in another direction with a lot of their semi-automatics. Now, this is a lot of the designs of your standard EZ. They haven't gone away with some of the way it functions, but they've definitely upgraded. Let's go ahead and drop our magazine. First off, you get a 10-round magazine over the 8-round in the standard EZ. Check the chamber, and the gun's empty. Now this is really one of the big pluses. Super easy to bring that slide back, and that's what the EZ was known for. Just the recoil spring has been reduced just to make it much simpler. And one of the things to me, especially with female shooters that get a new gun, is racking that slide can be a chore. Or if you're older and you're starting to get some arthritis in your hands. But not only is it easier to bring back, but the serrations have been improved. These are deep, wide serrations, and man, they are easy to bring back. And even at the front for press checks. Just gives you a really nice gripping surface to pull those back. And also, there are some ears here at the back of the slide that give you more leverage. Now, my wife has one of the M&P Shield 2.0s. That's her concealed carry. And one of the things that she had trouble with is pulling that slide back. And one of the things I told her, and this is just a tip for those who have trouble, is to grip the frame, hold on to the slide, and push the frame out. And that is much easier. You have a lot more leverage on the grip. And so, just a small tip. But with the standard EZ, you can see those serrations that are typical for your M&P type pistols. They're just kind of what I call waves or fish scales. And here at the front, it's almost an afterthought. There's just a few serrations here. And while these are adequate, and you can see how easy that is to pull back, this is a vast improvement, and it's a larger area. It's not just back here at the back. So it gives you more grip on the slide, easier spring, and then you have these ears as well to help. So that is, to me, one of the biggest banes for most of your semi-automatic pistols for those with weaker hand strength. Also, they have upgraded the sights. Now, these are Novak style sights, and they just slope up. This has a cocking shelf. And so now I can take this and put it on my belt. I can put it against the heel of my shoe or a table. And I can rack this slide with one hand. And so it allows for me to have one-handed reloads. The sights are a 3-dot sight, but one thing they've also done is it's optics ready. And this is just a plate that goes over, take it off, and you can put any RMS Shield C footprint sight on here. And we're going to do that in just a few minutes. Now, not only do we have a 10-rounder, we also have a 13-round magazine and a 15-round magazine. The 10-rounder will give you a really short grip, and this is the best for concealed carry. The grip is the hardest to conceal. But if we bring out our 13-rounder, it really balances the gun from the slide down to the grip, and it gives you a nice full grip on your handgun. And then with the 15-rounder, it does hang off a little bit more, but this will accommodate almost anyone's size hands. So this gives you a lot of gripping surface. This is better, honestly, at the range or as a backup magazine. And so you have the full capacity of a full-size handgun in 9mm with 15+1. So these are just some great options, and it does come with all 3 magazines, which is a big upgrade from the Shield EZ 8-round magazine. Now, one of the big pluses for the EZ was this magazine was very easy to load. It has those same kind of little small levers that pull down on your follower that make it simple. You know, guys, if you've ever loaded a magazine like this, it can be tough on your thumbs, but especially if you don't have a lot of hand strength. One thing they have included is a Maglula Up-Lula Loader. These are great. I love Maglulas, and this is just a simple way to be able to load your magazine. So instead of making a smaller magazine with ears, they've just included the loader to make it easier for you to load. And guys, honestly, I use these at every range day. And when it comes to the regular Shield Plus, and this is the M&P Shield, it's empty. These magazines actually are compatible with the Equalizer. So all of your Shield magazines are equal, and vice versa. They will also go in the Shield Plus. While the Shield EZ has a thinner grip with the 8-round magazine, it's only about a 1/10 of an inch difference with the new Equalizer, and you're getting 10 rounds. But now the black nitriding on the slide is beautiful, and that's one of the things. It's called the Armorite finish, and Smith & Wesson has, to me, really perfected that beautiful sheen on their slides. Nice polymer frame, a little more aggressive texturing, not much. It's still somewhat smooth, not like you have here with this aggressive texturing, but it gives you a little bit of a bite, which the original EZ is a little smoother up here. Not quite as aggressive on the serrations, and so it just gives it also a totally different design, but these are a little bit more aggressive. Nice undercut, which they kept from the EZ right here, so it allows you to bring your hand up, and you have a fairly low bore axis. Nice beaver tail, 18-degree grip angle, so that's more like your 1911, which is more natural. One thing, too, that both the EZ and the Equalizer share as well is a internal hammer-fired pistol, and it's single action. So when you rack the slide, it actually cocks the hammer, pre-cocks it, and it makes for a really nice trigger break. But you'll notice that there is no blade safety. Now, you can get it with a frame safety or without, and of course I chose it without. And then we have a grip safety. Now, grip safety is really big with the 1911. But one of the things about a grip safety, and some people don't like them, some people love them, is that this is a passive safety. So this trigger cannot be fired unless I am depressing the grip safety, and then I can fire the pistol. So it's very natural to grip it with a full grip, and then you're ready to fire. We have a 3-slot Picatinny rail. Your slide stop is raised a little bit to be able to bring it down, and you have your takedown lever. Your magazine release can be removed and put onto the other side. And so a lot of really cool features. A lot of those are retained in the EZ, but these are just a lot of upgrades. Now the M&P Shield has been a huge plus from the beginning, even when it was a single stack magazine. With the Shield Plus, you're getting very little grip extension, and yet it has 10+1. And so these are going to be kind of two choices for concealed carry. My wife, this is her concealed carry piece, and she upgraded from the original Shield. But we want to get a kind of a size difference between the two. Now both of them are 10 rounds, and the magazines are pretty much head to head. When we have a little bit longer barrel and slide on the Equalizer. And to be honest, we have a little bit more thickness on the Equalizer. The Shield is definitely a little thinner. But guys, again, one of the biggest differences is pulling this slide back. I mean, it definitely takes a little bit more strength than it does with the Equalizer. With the Equalizer, 1 pound, 6.2 ounces. With the Shield Plus, 1 pound, 4.2 ounces. That's not a surprise considering the slide and barrel are smaller. The slide is stainless steel, and it does again have that black Armornite finish on it. And then the barrel is 3.675 inches, and it is also stainless steel, and it also has that Armornite finish. And we'll take a little bit of a better look when we break the pistol down. Here we have our trigger. It is curved, just a little bit of take up. And then a nice crisp break. Reset right there. Now the reset is not really tactile, it is a little bit audible, but then we're back on it. And again, this is an internal hammer fired pistol that's single action. Okay, we're going to check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge from Brownells. 4 pounds, 4.7 ounces. 4 pounds, 9.8 ounces. We have actually tested this quite a few times, and it's around the 4.5 and under mark. Typically your Glocks are coming in at 5.5 pounds. And the break is really crisp. Reset's a little bit long, but honestly, a very nice trigger. We really appreciate Fiocchi for sponsoring the ammo, all made in the USA, one of the largest suppliers of ammunition in the country. And also Lula loaders. I mean, these things will save your thumbs. You know, with the flush fit magazine, it still gives you enough grip to be able to control the pistol. You've got larger hands, it'll hang off just a little bit. But, you know, this is the smallest magazine with 10 rounds. Then we come in with a 13 round magazine, and I'll tell you guys, I mean, this is like just your standard full-size pistol. More like a Glock 19 in silhouette. And so, real great cocking serrations. I really like the improvement. More definite than even the fish scales, which personally I liked. This gives you a little bit of a deeper cut, makes it easier to bring back, and that small ledge at the back of the slide. So then when I bring it up, it gives you again that full grip. And then when we take the 15 round magazine, it's going to give you those extended rounds. And really for a small size like this, I mean, this gives you a lot of capability, and it's so thin. So as we grip it, and again, we don't have a frame safety, we don't have a trigger safety, but we do have the grip safety, which is passive. Bringing it in. And this is a good shooting gun, and it gives you 3 different magazine options. But you'll notice how flat it shoots. It's thin like a 1911, but yet it has a lot of capacity. 9mm, so it gives you plenty of, defensive capability. And especially since this is on the EZ style. So you've got a really easy rack on the slide, very simple controls, and just a great little gun. Smaller grip for those with smaller hands, but even if you have larger hands, it's thick enough to where it can give you control. And I'll tell you what, we have had no malfunctions. Slides held back on every round. I'll tell you guys, great option, period, for concealed carry. But if you're considering those that have maybe weaker hand strength or those that are not used to firearms, this makes a great option. And over the EZ, it gives you up to 15 rounds, compared to the 7-8 rounds of the standard version. Now again, this is optics ready, and you have your Shield RMSC footprint, which is more of your micro red dots. Polymer top here, and you just remove these two screws. You can attach your red dot directly to the frame, which makes it lower than having to put spacers or adapter plates. Now mounted on the pistol, we have one of the Holosun EPS carry sights. It's an RMS Shield footprint, which goes perfectly on here. You'll notice that there's no adapter plates. It fits right down into the slide. And the EPS is just an excellent enclosed sight. It doesn't have that angle to it that you can get debris down in it. And a lot of sights you're starting to see that way. This has a small little solar panel on top to help preserve your battery life. Easy to put on. I mean, you have these two screws, put it on, tighten them up, and you're ready to go. And it mounts again right to the slide. And you can co-witness, and that's one thing I love about this sight, is that I can see my 3-dot sights in the bottom part of the window. And this just makes an excellent addition without having to put suppressor height sights. The reticle itself is really cool. It has a 2 MOA dot, and you can go with just that, or it has a 32 MOA circle. And your third option is a 2 MOA dot with a 32 MOA circle around it. And all you have to do is click the button for 3 seconds and it will change the modes. And so you can pick whichever works best for you. And it gets daylight bright. It's a nice eye box. You can see the target very well. Just very quick to deploy, easy to get on target. It's one of the things I do love about red dot sights. And with this already lined up with your sights, it's really easy to bring it up and to fire. And the mounts seem to be very secure. We put quite a few rounds through it. And I am really pleased with this setup, but the Holosun sight itself is excellent. And we really appreciate Smith & Wesson for sending the EPS. They wanted to show a sight mounted onto the pistol. All right, now for disassembly. Drop your magazine, check the chamber, and the gun's empty. Now obviously we have the red dot attached, and of course you can clean it that way. There are a couple of things though that you need to know when disassembling this firearm. Number one is you don't want to depress your grip safety. So as we bring the slide back and put it into slide lock, bring down your lever, and then again with the grip safety not engaged, drop your slide. And then it just comes right off. You don't have to pull the trigger. In fact, you shouldn't pull the trigger because here is your hammer, your internal hammer, and you don't want that in the down position. It can cause issues. So that's one safety factor about disassembling your firearms. And then here we're going to take out our recoil spring and guide rod. It is metal, it's captive, and it has the flat recoil springs. And then we have our barrel. And beautiful nitride barrel over stainless steel. And man, that's slick. Here the slide. No tooling marks. I mean, this is standard Smith & Wesson quality. We do have a large area that's been cut out of the back, and this allows for the hammer. And it also allows for weight savings with the slide. Again, here's the frame, and we do have our internal hammer, and it is pre-cocked. Whenever you pull the slide back, it'll cock the hammer, and so it's a single action. But very nice, very well done. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip. Let's go ahead and replace our barrel. With the recoil spring, you'll notice that there are two flat areas on either side. And then you have your rounded areas, your curved areas. You want to make sure those curved areas are against the barrel and at the top of the barrel. The flat side should be on either side. And that's going to allow you to put your slide back onto your frame because it won't go any other way. Don't ask me how I know that. And now make sure that you do not depress your grip safety. So bring it over and engage your slide lock. And then bring your lever up, drop the slide, re-enter a magazine, pull the trigger for test function, and with the grip safety fully engaged. And that's it, guys. It's simple. Again, there are a couple of little things that you want to make sure, but really simple. One of the things too about the EZ, since it's been out for about 4 years, there's a number of different sight options, holster options, different things that they offer. And here is a crossbreed holster. It fits the Equalizer very nicely. And of course, this is an inside the waistband holster, has a mag carrier on it. But then we can take our standard EZ, put it in here, and we're good to go as well. Of course, you're going to have a different mag carrier. But this is just an excellent company. I've done a lot with the crossbreed holsters, and they make really good products. So one thing about a new firearm, when it comes out, a lot of times it takes a while for aftermarket support to catch up, and that's part of the reason why Smith & Wesson sent the crossbreed and the Holosun, just to show you what's out there. Now, as far as pros and cons, it's definitely a thinner handgun, so it's going to be great for concealed carry, and yet you have a lot of round capacity. 10 rounds in a flush fit, again 13 rounds in a kind of a normal grip fit, and then 15 rounds in that larger grip. Easy to pull back on the slide, even front, back, it doesn't matter. One of the things about the original EZ is it had small little abbreviated serrations at the front. This gives you really good grippable, pull back type serrations, and I love it. The grip angle is really natural, and it's really great. For those who are just starting to shoot, it really makes a big difference to have that natural grip. Sights, 3-dot, they're nice. Of course, with the Lula loader, it makes it easier to be able to load those magazines, which again, the first one had those little nubs on the side where you could load them. But upping the round capacity to me is a huge plus. And once I saw the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus, I knew it was just a matter of time before the EZ was upgraded. Because guys, this targets the most vulnerable market. And when you give them a really capable self-defense option that's small and carryable, and that's one of the big things, and yet it shoots like a full-size gun, it really is an equalizer. And guys, we really appreciate Smith & Wesson for sending the Equalizer for this review. I'm really glad to see gun companies coming out with options for those that have little shooting experience, but also the most vulnerable in our society. They need to have something that's very capable. And I feel like that the Equalizer is definitely a great choice. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. Smith & Wesson. Grip safety, which makes it which is a big upgrade from the Shield. Okay. Now while the Shield options for those who would have little